So just gonna make like maybe 5 more seconds while people kind of load in. So maybe
come in,
Raquel will like log
in. Did you tag me?
I tagged the group.
Okay.
I got to group it. Okay, so hey, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about new home constructions. And a lot of people are, there's, especially in Orlando area, there's tons of new homes being built. I mean, you go to Haines City, place that used to be empty fields, it's like now new home construction out there.
Correct.
So if you're out there, or I'm going to pretend this, if I'm a buyer and I want to buy a new home construction, what are some tips that you should recommend? Like, why should I do new home constructions versus a resale?
Okay, well, first let me start off by saying hi, I'm Anastasia with Century 21 Carioti with the Casa Keys group, and this is Mendez, if you don't know.
That's good, I should have.
Yeah, that's okay, I got it. We're live, so we're just not going to be able to stop and re-record this. And Mendez, he's with Century 21 Carioti as well with the Casa Keys group, and we are both realtors. And he asked me about new construction, so I'll go ahead and answer that. Why I tell people new construction is a great way to buy is like you get a brand new house. You get a house where no one sat on the toilet yet. No one has been in your bathtub. No one's took a shower in there. Everything's spanking new. There's great warranties. Typically, it's 2 years structural, 2 years for electrical and plumbing, 10 years structural, 5-year AC and parts. But if you register, you get additional 5 years for parts, not for labor. And then you also get 10-year, 1 year bumper to bumper for everything inside the home if there's any damages or anything. So it comes with great warranty. So
that's pretty good.
New construction for that.
So it's like when you buy a house versus buy a resale, because when you buy a resale, it could have been there for like maybe 20 years, and then now you have to go in with repairs. Buy a new roof, new AC. You're buying a resale house, maybe be around the same price, but now you're not thinking about all the other stuff you have to upgrade the home. Where if you buy a new home, where if it is just a little bit more expensive, you're set for at least good 15 years.
Correct. So, in case for those who don't understand what resale homes is a pre-existing home that someone's lived in before. So the house could be 1 year old or 6 months old that someone's lived in. That's considered a resale home. New construction is something that's spanking new that you're buying directly from the builder. That makes it new. Anything that's done with a person in person, that is a resale home. Now, there are custom builders where the seller knocked down the house, started a house, rebuilt the house, and it says it was built in 2020 or 2021. That's very normal. Then, yes, that's considered new construction as well. It's just a different type of new construction. Most of the time when we say new construction, we're talking builders directly that are purchased home.
Yeah. Now, another thing people ask, about the HOA. People are like, I don't want to live in a neighborhood with HOA. But there's actually a benefit of living in a new home construction with the HOA, because actually the community actually is like almost like living in a resort, because you may not have a pool, but the community will have a pool.
Correct.
Or it has like their own playground, it has a gym there. So there's like a benefit of living in that area. So could you talk about some of that?
Sure. A lot of things you mentioned is valid, but one of the things you didn't mention was the fact that it helps with the appreciation of the home. Yes. Like if you go to a neighborhood where there is no HOA, you may have your neighbor has 10 cars on the lawn. And then when it's time to sell your house, you can't sell your house because they don't like the decorum of the cars in the yard. Or the grass is too high. Or they are not taking care of their property. They don't have any grass. They have dirt. There's no HOA. There's no regulations on that. So sometimes having regulations is not always a bad thing. A lot of times people are worried about, I can't paint the color of the house on the outside my color. How many people actually paint the outside of their house? Not that many people.
Yeah. So, but if they do paint it, it's good that they go through the HOA, because sometimes people will paint the house an ugly color.
Like pink.
Or like a mint green with, and
purple.
It's just, yeah. So you don't want that. And it destroys the value of that whole neighborhood. It just makes it look ugly. So when you live in an HOA, you may be paying a small monthly fees. And actually, new home constructions, surprisingly, they actually have low HOAs.
They can be under $100. Some of them are under $50.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on the amenities. If you have a gated community, and depending on how many homes. So the factor of the HOA is how many homes are in the community, what amenities are in the community, would detect how much determine, there you go, another word, determine how much your HOA is. So if you're a gated community, you have a pool, you have a playground, and you have, let me think of one more other amenity, a clubhouse, but you only have 150 homes in there. Your HOA is going to be fairly high because of the gated community alone. It's an X amount of money for the just to have a gate, and then the maintenance of the pool. The HOA is supposed to cover the maintenance of the area of the home. So that's what an HOA is. And a lot of people don't understand the functionality of an HOA, or why is the HOA so high, or why is the HOA this and that. You got to find out what's included in the HOA. If you look at a townhome that has an HOA, your roof may be included into your HOA. Your structural isn't covered, so you don't have to insure all that. So your home insurance is cheaper because you're not covering those maintenances. So find out what's included in your HOA to find out why it's a fee.
And it balances out because, if the community has a gate, the HOA may be higher, but you have more security.
Correct. So you're paying for security.
It's less security, and then the same. You're paying HOA and it has a pool. Well, guess what? You don't have to clean that pool.
No.
Someone else will clean that pool. And most people who have a home with a pool, they're in it, maybe 5 times a year? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? You can do 5 times a year in a neighborhood. Or I've seen some communities that actually has, in a clubhouse, a gym, a little
Correct.
gym. So you're paying $60 a month for a membership at a gym.
Correct.
Might as well enjoy it. You're paying your HOA.
Correct.
So there's a lot of benefits with that. But also, it takes neighborhood, so it actually looks nice.
Correct.
And that's a good thing about that. So an HOA, moving into a place that has HOA shouldn't scare you. Is actually a benefit. There's a lot of bad things on
Correct.
HOA, but it's actually a good thing. It could definitely benefit you.
Now, the only issue I have with HOAs is when they say, okay, there is an HOA, but there's no amenities. But most of the time, those are paid annually. So you might pay $150 a year.
Yeah.
Those are just to maintain the properties and make sure that there's no property decrease in value, and maintain the colors and all the functionality of the home. That is what that HOA is, when you pay a yearly HOA. So just finding out what's included, knowing what you're going to get, that's the best part.
Now, another thing about new home construction is you have inventory homes, mm-hmm. and then you have new home constructions. So can you talk about that? What is the inventory home, and then what's the difference between that versus having to wait?
Okay, so we're in the builder world. Inventory home is a home that's already been built by the builder but hasn't been purchased or under contract with somebody, or they were under contract and the deal fell through. That is what we call an inventory home. There's a home that the builder has in their inventory that they need to upload. To be built is a home where you picked all the options. You're there from start to finish. That takes, typically, depending on which builder, it could take about 7 to 8 months. That's the typical time frame. That means permits were pulled, the lot wasn't designed for the home, and you're picking all the stuff inside of it. So that takes about 7 to 8 months to do. An inventory home, it could be closed in less than 30 days, depending on how much longer to build.
And what's the benefit of, just say if I wanted to buy a home and I see an inventory home, what's the benefit of that versus a home to be built?
I can negotiate a inventory home a lot better than I can for to be built. To be built, you're willing to wait 7 months, so the negotiations are not as powerful as me doing an inventory home, because the seller needs to upload this, the builder needs to get rid of this, and I didn't choose those options inside, so they're not necessarily a benefit to me. So I'm going to ask for a discount for what I need.
Lower price. Now with the to be built home, there are some other benefits where sometimes they might. Some builders will give them a credit towards...
Yeah, incentives. You get incentives for a design studio, depending on which builder. And also, whether you do inventory or resale, you could get some assistance towards closing costs.
Yeah. Now, since you're an expert of new home constructions, name some of the companies and some experiences of the homes that you like. And,
some of the good builders that I do like are the D.R. Hortons, depending on your type of taste. The Taylor Morris's, the MIs, the Khoven. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I just call it KH. Also, there is what is my other builder? There you have the LGIs, you have Pulte's, you have the Ryan Homes. I've worked with almost every single builder known to mankind. I've sold all of them. Most of them know me from me selling properties of new construction. But it's just a different world. If you don't have a realtor that specializes in new construction, you cannot negotiate a new construction like you do a resale home. And that's the mistake that realtors go in and they don't know what the world they're talking about. You have to understand they can't go past a certain number, and you have to understand how the science and how that works in order for you to get that. And if you don't understand that, you won't know how to negotiate a new construction building.
So let's say I want to buy new home constructions. What's the benefit me using a realtor versus me just going in by myself? And that's me pretending not to be a realtor. So like if a buyer, what are going to be pretty much the pros and cons?
Okay, that's an excellent question, Lewis. One of my things that I do tell people is to go in with representation. That builder agent that sit there in that office, they are a licensed realtor, but they work for the builder. They are the best interest for the builder. They will not go against their boss. They're not going to jeopardize their job for you. You're one deal. So you have a representation. Even though the realtor gets paid by the builder, we do not work for the builder. We work for the buyer. So our loyalty, if you have to walk, we walk with you. So I'm not gaining anything from it unless we work together and get it done with this, whatever we got in mind.
So you're trying to benefit. Your job is to get the best value for the buyer versus them. They're just trying to get the best benefit for their company. So they're just another client coming to buy. There's no discount. They don't know all the other behind the scenes detail, all these other stuff.
There's something they would try to say, oh, I could do you a favor with this and that. But what they're giving you is something they already were going to be able to do regardless.
Yeah.
They just have to obligate it to legalize to mention it and disclose it.
But you being a realtor, knowing
I could dig a little deeper. And
there's other things in around, and you could always ask, and other stuff to watch. And then now another thing is, a lot of people think now that when you buy new home constructions that you don't need an inspection.
Well, no, I don't agree with that. I believe you should do an inspection while you're in the home buying process. Or if you, another way, if money's tight and let's say we're going into a house and you don't have the funds for inspection, I recommend to do at least 6 months into the home because you have that 1-year warranty from bumper to bumper. So you can at least be in the house first, then do the inspection within 6 months, send in your list of repairs, and you can get your inspection that way. Yeah. But either way, you still get an inspection if you can't do it up front because every money's allocated. But if you have the funds available to, do it before.
Yeah, I always recommend doing an inspection because, hey, even new home constructions, sometimes they mess up.
Yep, humans.
So I think that covers a lot of things. Do you have any other things you would like to add on to someone who's looking to buy a home?
I recommend just hire a realtor. Lewis and myself, we are both amazing realtors who love doing this. So I highly recommend you contacting us if you're looking into a new construction. Never go in without representation. It's like a person representing themselves at court.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do a pro se.
So thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something about new home constructions. And if you are looking to buy new home constructions, reach out to the Constant Keys group, reach out to me. And also, before you leave, please like this page, subscribe to the channel, comment, share with your friends. If you know someone who's looking to buy a new home, definitely share this video because this is great tips. And then also hit the notification button so that way when we do come on live and we do have something, you'll be the first to know. So thank you so much and have a good day.
Thanks.